Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome to another Supreme Commander Epic. This one's going to be another long one, guys, so I warn you, if you have somewhere to be, don't start this now. Add it to your watch later playlist on YouTube and catch it on the down low when you have some free time. It is going to be a 2v2v2 because it's a fantastic format and you hardly ever see anyone cast them. In fact, I've only done one, I believe, to date, and it was on this very map, the Dark Heart, one of my favorite maps, and you just don't see a lot of games. You don't see a lot of free-for-alls, you don't see a lot of 2v2v2s in general, and it's basically because it's quite a harsh format. It's often people can get unfairly ganged up on. Just as a matter of course, it's not actually that they've done anything wrong, but it can just happen or work out that way. And also in the later game, when the scores become prevalent and one person becomes a real threat, when they're tearing away with the lead, they can get primaried later on, so you can be doing really well, and the whole world turns against you and can ruin your day. So anyway, let's take a look at the teams. We'll call this island on the top left up here Team 1, Team 2 to the right of it, and then Team 3 at the bottom. We've got DoshNEGGER. He's going Fim in the purple corner for Team 1, and his teammate is Postal. He's going Orange Aeon. Over to Team 2, we've got blackjuge, or blackjuge. I think he's probably going for blackjuge, so that's what I'm going to call him. Apologies if you weren't. And other member of Team 2 is the one and only Luzun in his quintessential teal and going UEF. And then down here, for 3, we have our faithful mod clan tags Xevo. He's going breast cancer awareness, pinky purple sort of thing, and he's going Fim. And last but never least, we have the one and only Zock. He's going red Cyberin. I love this map. I think one of the other reasons you don't see more people doing 2v2v2 maps is because there just aren't enough good maps out there as well. So if you're a map maker, get on it, guys. Make some good 2v2v2 maps, and I promise you that I will pay you the huge quantity of gratitude and no money, because I don't have any. But seriously, do it. But I actually only cast one of the games on this map, I think, and it was a classic one between Mephistophile, Salui, TLO, TBO. Check it out, guys. It makes for some very interesting watching. Of course, also on the Dark Heart, you've got these central islands with lots of reclaim. You've got large shipwrecks on the beach, got a lot of rocks, 3 mass points to play with in the middle, so it's definitely worth trying to get control of if you can. And that looks like what DoshNEGGER is planning to do over on the left-hand side. His ACU is making a strut towards it. Also got a Zooey there from Xevo, probably looking to take out an engineer if that's what's going on, but that's not going to fare too well against an ACU. Got an engineer from Zock, he's making his way to the middle, and 2 engineers from both members of Team 2. And Luzun's actually queued up a land factory, so they're looking to make a pretty heavy move on this central island, which I always think is quite dangerous. I always would prefer to try and snatch both of these two than the central one, because the central one is exposed to the front lines of all of your opponents. Whereas if you're here, you're literally facing off generally against one other person, and if you can assist your teammate in getting that as well, that's a good 3 mass points that you can strut down. It's always easier to prevent people from taking mass points than it is to try and claim them and hold them for yourself. So that would be my personal preference, but I wouldn't dream of telling Luzun how to play, because that dude can play. We've seen it many times. He's going to try and make an early grab on this central island, so I'm not going to argue with him. However, Zock might, and he's got an ACU that's steaming towards that coast, and it's been pinged already. Not sure who by, but that could cause some great difficulty. He's going to be able to deal with that if he carries on his current trajectory. It's not going to be any difficulty for him at all. DoshNEGGER over on the left-hand side is steaming towards the side coast of Xevo. He's going to kill that engineer, and there's going to be plenty left on that wreck for him to reclaim as well, and the ACU can reclaim so much quicker than the engineer will. Xevo is coming in with his own ACU, but there won't be anything left of that Salem class wreck. He wants to switch up to this frigate down here. I think he's going to back off and perhaps let Xevo have it. Over on the right hand side, we've got a shoulder drone out for Luzun, and that's helping to steal mass. Reclaims the engineer that was working on that Salem wreck. Very nice indeed. So the ACU of Luzun, which is in the middle, obviously you can see the backpack there, definitely went for the shoulder drone opening, and that's allowed him some excellent versatility. You can see he's already got the land factory over here, and that's probably what he was doing. He probably upgraded his comm over here, used the engineer to build the land factory, the mobile drone engineer, and then get down stealing stuff down here. That's been popped now, however, from a prowler, and that's just going to sit down on the beach for Zock. So Zock has forced the destruction of that land factory, but doesn't mean he's got any further with controlling the middle, because both blackjuge and Luzon have marched their comms onto the central island and they're starting to put up defenses. You can see a plasma cannon going down there for Luzon. So they're definitely investing quite a lot in going for the middle. We've got a little bit of a comm-on-comm engagement now between DoshNEGGER and Xevo, and these guys have been reclaiming each other's mass. It's going to be interesting to see who's reclaimed the most mass. Xevo, as we click onto him, he's got about 3,500 mass, whereas DoshNEGGER's got 6,500. So definitely DoshNEGGER's come out better on the reclaiming war in terms of his timing and build and what he chose to go after on this side island. That's worked out better for him. It might also have something to do, actually, with the fact that there's an engineer here. Of course, there are wrecks that sit here, and there, and obviously that's what the engineer was doing, loitering there. That's probably why things showing so much better for DoshNEGGER than Xevo. But we've got a few Zoos that are massing up down here for DoshNEGGER. So actually things looking pretty healthy for Team 1 for the moment. Postal has gone unmolested at the top. He's managed to grab this top island. Judge hasn't seemed too impressed with it at all. He hasn't bothered going after it. And Postal's actually coming in with a few Auroras now. And that could be a slight problem for Judge. They look like they might be coming down here after the factories. And that's just one silver attack submarine with that horrible little gun on it. Does absolutely no damage whatsoever. You see Aurora versus that submarine. The Aurora might actually win if it's micro correctly, but it won't now because a Trident rolls off the production line, and that will nullify that little attack. And if we had that T2 mass, that would be a nice score, but I don't think they'll be able to. Only 4 little Auroras there. Just won't pack enough wallop before they get dispatched. Indeed, there they go. And a Zooey hanging out on the side cliff. It's obviously the perfect map as well for Zooeys. These cliffs that afford some protection to direct fire boats, afford no protection at all to floating artillery. And just lob shells over the cliffs and take out those mass points. DoshNEGGER's got a factory up down here. That's going to give him some control. We're actually seeing a few mobile Zooeys out on this side from DoshNEGGER as well. He's managed to take out a mass point, and that was a T2 mass as well. I saw it earlier, so that's a nice score from DoshNEGGER. He's doing rather well. We got some T1 subs in, Tiger Sharks in from Luzon. A lot of people don't think to raise the subs, although that gun does absolutely no damage. It's still extra damage, so if you raise it, he will of course continue to fire his torpedoes, but at the same time he will fire that top gun, so you're just adding a little bit of damage, extra damage onto that if you want to take that down quickly. You wouldn't do it of course against the surface fleet because you're then exposing your submarine to unnecessary damage. But now it's Xevo's turn to make a little bit of a push, and he's heading on up towards DoshNEGGER's base. Still engineers out for Luzon, going around being very cheeky, just capturing some of Zock's mass points. So for the moment, the middle is looking very much like Team 2's territory. All of those mass points, with the exception of the 2 on the left that belong to DoshNEGGER, will belong to Team 2. But still Team 1 in command of both of their corner islands, and Luzon in command down here. And Luzon, you cheeky git, has used the shoulder drones with his commander in conjunction with his commander to spam up some T1 PDs. That's taken out a whole bunch of stuff that's been stationed on the corner of Zock's base. And if he'd have got that triad up, that would have been a serious problem. Zock manages to defend, got enough build capacity to span some auto guns up himself. And Zock has the torpedo upgrade on his commander, which forces Luzon out onto the beach on the side island. So very nicely done indeed from Luzon. Creative play, always exciting to see. And that's what this map provokes, and that's why I like it so much. But anyway, back to the game. And a little bit of poor play here. DoshNEGGER not microing that frigate, allowing it to take unnecessary amounts of damage. But finally he wakes up, moves it, and he secures the Zooey kills. Extra bomb coming in from his own bomber, doing a bit of extra damage to that frigate. Not welcome at all. And Xevo once again kind of forced off that beach in the at the side island. But DoshNEGGER's taken a fair old amount of damage. He's down to about 6,800 HP. Once again rebuilds that corner mass point. It's got quite a lot of Zooeys stationed up on the side as well. Everywhere else, all was quiet. Although there's a lot of bombers massing over here on the right-hand side. We've also got a little bit of a TAC missile base going down for Luzon. That's going to go nicely for him. I don't see any zappers stationed on the side of Zock, and that's a very typical play to get TAC missile launchers on this map. You can see another one here for Xevo. First missile in the clip already. That's ready to go. And again, no TAC missile defense that I can see. He's got one T3 there. That one's soon to be T3. Of course, T3 mass points will take one hit from a TAC missile launcher. We've actually got a TAC missile going the other way. What's that going after is the question. It's heading straight over to Luzon's side island. He doesn't have any TMD up either. Oh, that's unfortunate. Straight into the side of the cliff. No rice for you. And now he readdresses his target priorities and is going after DoshNEGGER's base. That's going to finish just in time. Boom! Oh my god. Very lucky indeed. That would have taken out that mass point, but the T3 can tank it. Huge amount of HP on it, 8,400 when it's healthy. And T2 Navy out for Postal as well, so that's going to help DoshNEGGER out a little bit, but he's got an awful lot of Zoos coming in. We've got TAC missiles coming in as well. Again, that mass point at T3 so it can tank the one missile, but these T2 mass points can't tank the stream of Zoos that are coming in, doing horrendous amounts of damage. Going to really damage the build capacity as well as they get in amongst this. The base could cause an awful lot of trouble. Luckily, there's a Spectre here and a T2 gunship as well from DoshNEGGER and Postal, and that's going to help tidy things up. It's all going to be a question of how much damage the Zoos can get on the ground before they run out of steam. Finally, the second shots come in on the T3, so they've all gone down to DoshNEGGER. That's very harsh indeed. He's literally got 2 T2 mass points and 1 T1 mass point that he's operating off on the whole map. Oh, excuse me, sorry, no, he also has the 3 T1s down here, but that's not a lot compared to what he was on a moment ago. And there's a T2 air factory that he'd love to hold on to as a Christmas present if he's allowed it. I think he will be. His teammates bought him just enough time. How many TAC missiles? Only one in the clip still on that, so I imagine he's been firing. Or maybe not. And we've actually got zappers going up down here from Zock as well, so he's anticipating problems for his factories. Wants to hold on to the T2 naval factories. Of course, Navy on this map, absolutely crucial. All of these islands really small, so playing a huge role in the game you'd expect it to be. And we've now got an Exodus class, the destroyer, and these are some of my favorite destroyers in the game. Don't care what you say. Cyberin, yes, I know they can go on land, but these suckers are so tanky, such a large amount of damage, and I just like the color of that plasma burst. So we've actually got bombers coming in now from Luzon. Not sure what that was he took out. I think that was a TAC missile defense, a zapper. He's definitely going after the zappers. Takes out some build capacity with it. Or, sorry, they are the Fin zappers, so Xevo helped build those, I think. TAC missiles coming up on the sideline, but Xevo's under an awful lot of pressure. We've got a hell of a lot of Spectres out from Postal. He's not going to make it out of there. No way. Should have gone straight to the sea, but I still don't think that would have helped him. Boom! So Xevo is ejected from the game, and after he'd performed so well against DoshNEGGER, DoshNEGGER had been highly damaged. That was a nasty position he was in. He'd forced DoshNEGGER's ACU out onto this side, kept him away from his base. He'd been streaming Zoos in, taken out all of his base mass points. And now Zock finds himself -1 partner and under pretty sustained barrage from Luzon. And we've got a governor over here for Luzon. That's going to put some continuous fire, but Zock's down here. He's on another upgrade. Take a look at what he's about to get as that goes live. Still on T2 engineering suite. No idea what that was. I was pretty sure maybe it was the T2 engineering suite. That's what it was. I don't know. He certainly had the we saw the torpedo launcher before. He's going to get to work on some zappers. Not a bad idea now that he's going to be under governor fire from Luzon. Actually seeing quite a hefty little navy pop up from Postal, but he has in the meantime managed somehow to lose this top island. We've got a bunch of Wagners here from blackjuge. He's obviously steamed in there. We've also got a transport, obviously, so he's had those dropped on the island, and that's managed to create an opening for Team 2. There's definitely an inferiority in number of tech for Team 2. However, we've got bulwarks in the area for Luzon and also Valiant, so that could easily tip the balance as he comes in behind them. And this looks like a little bit of a redress of focus once on Zock. Obviously Zock not the threatening one. How bloody cheeky is that, Luzon? Obviously dropped a whole bunch of engineers in to try and hoover up. He's such a mass burglar, I can't believe it. If that belongs to anyone, that belongs to Zock. So very nicely done, quickly clearing that up. But I can't believe that's so cheeky. It's not even close to being open territory. That's just right in the middle of Zock's now base. It's unreal. But another little drop in from blackjuge. He's dropped a whole bunch of Wagners onto the main island. It's not going to get too much done. It's taking out a few bits and bobs, but too many Spectres in the locale for Postal. While I like you, Exodus class destroyer, you cannot fight those odds. A couple of Spectres trying to finish off that Salem, but just not going to get too far, especially not with the bulwark moving in to cover it. And now we've got the Governors coming in range. Air just isn't an option for the moment. Looking very vulnerable indeed. So Team 2 having some nice success up here. And in the meantime, though, of course, Zock no longer the priority. He's recently lost his teammate. He doesn't have this side island, but he does now have time. And that is the crucial aspect to the 2v2v2. That's why it produces some nice long games. Is because you dish damage out to one person, you might not kill them. And of course, you have to switch to the other person if they've gone unmolested because they're building up. So Zock just doing some nice work down here with the Siren, the cruiser for Cybran. Got his commander strutting his stuff out front. Not really doing too much at the moment, but he's got time, and more importantly, he's got control of the mass on the left-hand side of his island. So it's all going to come down to how long it takes for someone to give up here. And the cruiser out for DoshNEGGER is helping to push some fire on the recently acquired island up here for blackjuge. That's a lot of fire coming in over the cliffs. Postal's queuing up shield generators. It's a tough call when you've got that much coming in. He's got a couple of artillery installations up. One's just gone down, the miasmas. Oh, he wants to start building as quickly as possible. It's being pinged. He's taking an awful lot of fire. That's a bad call. He needs to back up. He's not going to get that up in time. Not even close. He decides against it, but he goes down into the red. 3,000 HP. 2,500. Boom! And Postal gets ejected from the game. So now both Team 1 and Team 3 are down to one person. Team 2 still looking strong. And they continue to press, now wanting to put as much fire on DoshNEGGER as possible. He's going to get involved with his commander. Hopefully he's got some power storage up so he can overcharge these Wagners that are coming in. Obviously these ones weren't dropped, they are amphibious, so they just made their way onshore. Suffice to say, I didn't see a transport earlier, so those last ones probably were as well. And now Zock is going to take advantage of the situation. He's moving that Siren class into position, putting some fire, but what's so wonderful about these side islands is the hillocks can offer some pretty good coverage, and there's only certain avenues of attack you have for ranged attack. We saw earlier that missile collide from Xevo collide with this hill, providing some cover for Luzon. That's why his attack missile launcher was so nicely placed, but that has since been taken out. Apologise to all of you for missing that. Of course, that is the nature of this. It's so difficult to see everything. We'll have to just focus on the salient points, and Luzon's being a thief again. Look, what business do you have in there? That's so rude. BM, oh my god, it's all about it with Team 2. Look at the amount of engineers blackjuge has in the locale. Dropped in by the transport. DoshNEGGER zooies them to death. blackjuge could do with taking off that transport, but he doesn't manage it. That goes down. Oh, it's so rude. I don't know why that vexes me so much. So I feel like that belongs to you when it's on your island, but very good play indeed. And those bulwarks could make a really significant difference in all of this. So such a powerful aspect of UEF Navy. It's those massive shield gens all encompass your fleet. Valiant's taking serious fire at the front now. And a few Salems and Sirens out at the front of this pack for Zock. He's got a lot of build capacity on this T2 factory down here. We'll take a quick look at how he's doing eco-wise. It's looking pretty strong. I mean, he's got the second half of his island now. And he's also got a factory up over on the left-hand side. A lot of build capacity on that too, so he wants to stake a claim on this side island, which is the right thing to do, especially since DoshNEGGER has just had its Sahaba. That's a lot of Zoos pouring out of DoshNEGGER's base. Where are they going? They're going here, so I doubt, Zock, you're going to be able to hold on to that. It's a lot of resources that are just about to be thrown at you. And very interesting, the amount of Salems out here for Zock, and Sirens are definitely winning out. Would have thought it looked like it was going the other way for a moment with the bulwarks and everything. A lot of conversation going on amongst the teams. And look at the amount of Zoos strolling onto the island. And that will be the end of this little base. He gets one Wagner out. That ain't going to do too much, I shouldn't imagine. And of course, once again, hills getting in the way of the direct fire from the Salem. Lots of engineers going pop there. What was that? Was that an attack missile? No, it was an artillery shell. We've got a clink hammer. I love that. What a great name, a clink hammer. Might name my firstborn clink hammer. That's doing wonders at knocking down the build power on that factory. He should definitely stay on it. She's going to. Oh, just clips the back end. Only takes 2 out. We're now seeing sub-hunters on the field for DoshNEGGER, so he really wasn't hurt that badly. A lot of build capacity on that T3 factory as well. So half of the middle island still under Luzon's control. Look at the wrecks slowly piling up in the middle, and we've got a Summit, one of my favorite naval units, on the field for Luzon. And now he's got some coverage as well. And look at the Navy from Zock just crumble. But he's doing exactly the right thing. He must have the T3 upgrade on the comm. That's what's held him back. And if he can get a bunch of harms up, that could be GG in this war. It's virtually nothing you can do when you get a whole bunch of harms in here on this map. So many HP, so much damage. And of course, can't direct fire them. If the water's shallow enough, you can hit them with large high damage units by ground firing with, say, a battleship. It's not an easy thing to do. But look at the Zoos on the left hand side, just going absolutely nuts on the forward defenses of Zock. I feel very sorry for him indeed. He's getting rather double teamed at the moment. Blackjuge isn't making any kind of real push over on the left hand side. A few Zoos marching up trying to counterattack that island, but otherwise it's all versus Team 3 at the moment. But these harms, getting a bit of a harm torpedo launcher creep on. You don't get to see that too often. It's going after the torpedo launcher. It needs to take out this Summit first. So much damage. Going straight after his base. The range on that sucker. And we've got a fat boy up in the middle. Excuse me for missing that. I'm just going to slow this down a bit and take a quick scan of the bases so we can see what's going on. We've got T3 Air for Luzon. He's producing strap bombers out of it. We've got an Atlantis underway for Luzon, so he's definitely going to try and get air control up and running. Over here, we've got working some T3 power. We've got an awful lot of bricks out for Blackjuge. And that island has been quite beaten up by that Zui attack. DoshNEGGER still very much in the same kind of state as before. He's getting an upgrade on his commander. See what that was in a minute. Probably some kind of tech suite upgrade, I imagine. look at the amount of build capacity that's going on that now T3 factory. He's producing galaxies out of it. That's the Cybran battleship. Zock just getting harm after harm after harm, and you can see the ground fire from the governors doing very small amounts of damage per shell. Just realized those are actually quite near the surface, and that may have been changed in the recent patch, which I didn't realize. Seeing some flak artillery going up. I think Zock needs to get some zappers up to nullify this threat from this governor ground fire. And artillery shells just continuing to rain down, and Zock's just losing huge quantities of T1 NGs. Needs to deal with that click hammer. Love that name. And one lonely brick being ferried in on a T2 transport. Will it even make landfall? Yes, it does. Transport doesn't get away. He's dropped it just in the water. Of course, the bricks have torpedoes as well. It's almost like he forgot what was happening with it. And Jesters, very nice indeed. Handy little tool, cheap at this stage in the game. Help mop up engineers, Zooies, all that kind of stuff. And the cheeky little brick makes his way onto land. There's actually quite a lot of Cerberus turrets up. But look how well he tanks them. Doesn't really know what he's firing at though. Gets inside the shield and then tries to fire out of the shield. That wasn't a particularly successful afternoon for him. But looky, we've got some bricks making landfall on the right hand side for Zock on the middle island between him and Luzon. Take out a Salem class destroyer that was chilling in the canyon. Forgot that he was a ship. Brings down one shield. If you can get in amongst here, take out some of this PD. This will be a nasty little loss for Luzon. Got 2 T3 mass points right there. And now there's a galaxy in the picture as well. The clink hammer's gone down, so no more cheeky fiery onto the build capacity of the T3 factory down here. Another galaxy rolling off the pad as we pass the 33-minute mark in this game. Once again, still producing Jesters. And like I say, very handy for going after these Zooies. But they do just enough damage to help take down the Zappers underneath the coverage of the shield gens. Fat Boy strolling into range, putting all kinds of fire on the front of Zock's base. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Zock needs to keep that at bay, and now he's retargeting to the line of zappers that were protecting his harms. Needs to deal with that Fat Boy as soon as possible. You can see how well those bricks fared on the side island. That base has been ended. Luzon now pushed back slightly, and we've got a strap bomber coming in, taking out that forward naval factory and a bunch of other stuff in the area for Zock. Things looking precarious at the moment for Zock. He hasn't got control of this island. DoshNEGGER has control of this. DoshNEGGER has got both of the corner islands flanking his base. Bricks shooing that Fat Boy back. Still taking fire from the galaxies. Lots of ambassadors, making life very difficult indeed for Zock. Why late game Cybran can still be so very strong on this map. These harms very nicely indeed. We have a strategic missile launcher that's gone up for Luzon. That could really change things dramatically, especially with Zock's commander chilling out here. One nuke and it's all over for Team 3. Gets the comm in one go, and even if he gets the comm out, that's the end of all of the harms, which will open the way for any naval units that Team 2 feel like throwing at him. Those bricks have traversed away around the corner from pursuing bricks of blackjuge, taking a lot of fire, and we've actually got some Harm's going up for blackjuge now. He says 2 can play at that game, Mr. Zocky Zock. A lot of artillery fire now colliding with that galaxy from both the summits actually and the fat boy that's on the cliffs. Luzon trying to get some more shield coverage up on the corner of his base. He's had an awful day recently. But now we're seeing a little bit of engagement on the left-hand side, which is a good thing. Anything that promotes some kind of engagement from Team 2 towards DoshNEGGER is a positive. He's getting away far too easily at the moment. Zock has been under relentless fire. It may look, of course, by score that Luzon is ahead, but that's, of course, because he scored the kill on the comm. That is a deceptive score. The guy who's leading at the moment actually is Zock. So that is the reason why he's been primaried so hard. He is the main threat. First guy to lose a teammate. The last person you want having extra mass is Zock. Fat Boy opens up again on those galaxies. So very difficult to deal with indeed. Sonar platform going down for Zock, the T3. That will give him excellent coverage of intel. We're seeing lots of engineers on that nuke silo, which is very nearly done. That nuke could change this game dramatically. That is chambered and ready to go. Is Luzon paying attention? That we will hear that shortly. As the sub-hunters come in from DoshNEGGER, we've got a whole bunch of T2 torpedo bombers that make a pass. Managed to take out one of them, but the chicken is coming in to reinforce from DoshNEGGER. blackjuge moves his commander out to safety, which is a wise idea. Bricks firing at that chicken, of course, doesn't quite get submerged on this map. Channel's just too shallow. Surprised Luzon hasn't nuked this area yet. He's obviously busy elsewhere or is formulating some other plan. Summit taking an awful lot of fire now. Deal with getting a bulwark in the area. Summit goes down. There's another one right next to it. A lot more health. So many engineers. So much build capacity. I love the way Zock has come back into this and has held off the challenge from both Team 1 and Team 2 simultaneously. You could have a problem now. It looks like this chicken is heading south. The waypoint is here. It's looked like DoshNEGGER has decided what to do with it as yet. Got a quantum gateway going up. Beautiful. Always love to see support commanders coming out. These longer games are generally the only place you see them, certainly at this level. That chicken is going to head home for some unbeknown reason. What on earth? Oh, I'm such an utter wally. I'm such a wally. Excuse me, everybody. That was the nuke launcher. That's a strategic missile defense. That's not ready yet. Disregard. Just disregard. We'll pretend that didn't happen. It's fine. Someone else said that. It was this guy right here. He said it. Look how guilty he looks. But no, so that was a strategic missile defense, and he was wisely covering on that first because it's 40 minutes into this game. Definitely wanted to get hold of that. That's why Luzon never make a mistake of that magnitude. He's not even focusing it, but when he does have a nuke in that clip, you can imagine that this will be the target of choice. It's been a relentless spam of artillery fire back and forth between these two guys. Look at the fire coming overhead. Fat Boy on 2,500 HP. He's not looking too healthy at all. Luzon focusing all day on getting shields up, and a T3 mass point goes down. Slowly, the accumulation of galaxies is providing too much fire for Luzon to handle. It seems like he's keeping up with this spam too well. See what he's doing on mass, of course. If you're bottlenecked on mass, that will not produce nukes very quickly at all. Certainly won't if you're not assisting it. And look at what he's doing here. Zock is ground firing with those galaxies and using the AoE on those shells to damage the Atlantis. But luckily for Luzon, he has some bulwarks in the area. The shield boats, he's able to get that under cover. And Zock promptly reassesses for a different target, going straight after Luzon's comm, who is quite heavily shielded, not only by the static shields, but he's got the shield on the comm. But just a couple of salvos takes him down to half HP on the shield, so he has to turn around and run. Oh, and the shield's depleted. Nice if he could take out that T2 power plant. And once again, a few sub-hunters coming in from DoshNEGGER. Don't want to mess with the harms. The harms really are the ultimate torpedo unit on this map. And a beautiful firing solution from the Fat Boy. Lots and lots of high value damage on that front galaxy and collateral damage on the rest of them. That galaxy looks like it's going to go down. Zock's not going to be able to save it. Indeed it does. Fat Boy manages to just skirt the periphery to get himself too involved. Lots of torpedoes coming across. What are we doing on that? It's very little movement on that nuke. It's so nearly there. As we pass the 43-minute mark in this game. Absolutely unreal. Got Monkey Lord going up on the main island for Zock, who's actually starting to spread out the coverage of these harms. I think this is a great idea. And there's the nuke. There it is, coming off from Luzon, and I wouldn't be surprised. Indeed, you can see the attack order right there. Zock tries to maneuver the galaxies, but they're not going to go anywhere. He's going to save one or two of them. But that is going to create a huge hole in his defense. Zock promptly moves out his bricks, I guess as a kind of a counter-attack to prevent Luzon from steaming in. My god, look how many Zuis DoshNEGGER has produced. 179 T1 artillery pieces. That's outrageous for DoshNEGGER. And the chicken from earlier that poked its head above water and then thought better of it has returned. This time he is more or less alone. I don't know whether this is just a kind of probing attack. Taking a lot of brick fire. And after a few bricks, takes out a T2 NG, or power plant, sorry. And that Atlantis has moved very close indeed to Zock's island. He's trying to get a few harms up. We've got a crab on the island now for blackjuge. Starting to produce some galaxies of his own. The brick force from Zock, who moved forward, I don't think for necessarily any other reason than to make Team 2 feel a little uneasy after the successful impact from that nuke. Just taking a lot of Fat Boy fire there, had to retreat. Huge quantities of missiles still streaming in from a couple of governors sitting under cover of bulwark shields. Of course, the TAC missile defense on the galaxies is actually pretty effective. So we knock this up another notch. We're going to see another couple of bricks landing at the top from blackjuge. He wants to reclaim this in the name of Team 2 Cybrin. Manages to pop those 3 T1 mass points. You can see that DoshNEGGER wasn't expecting to hold that, didn't invest anything in upgrading those mexes. These ones, however, are T2, all 3 of them. So, with a huge quantity of T1 artillery he had on that island, he felt that was a safer bet. Crab sort of hovering on the edge. Just kind of a relentless stream of ranged attack between Team 2 and Team 3 at the moment. Zock holding out very nicely indeed. There's a few engineers coming in now for Zock. They're on an A move over here. I actually think that was probably meant more maybe for some C-Rex. They've come onto the island. And a huge overhead pass from a stream of T2 bombers. T2 torpedo bombers didn't have the biggest impact on the game. And now we're seeing some movement from the Zoos coming in on the left-hand side. But Zock's nicely placed a whole bunch of mobile artillery. And we've actually got a nuke silo over here from DoshNEGGER, and with one in the clip as well, that can go at any time. What kind of defense does Zock have? Zock's got one there. I'm not seeing anything though on the left-hand side of the island, so if that's placed over here, DoshNEGGER could be successful. I don't know so much about Team 2. There's one up here, and of course the one down here as well. So Team 2 is pretty well covered. Target of choice would definitely be the left-hand side of the island, or potentially up here again and allow Luzon and blackjuge a route in to destroy Zock. But then of course you don't want to make it too easy for them, because you want them to lose all of their units in the process. Don't want to just allow them a free route into Zock's base to kill him. But he's got so much stuff, I just don't think it'd be as easy as that. And there we go. Who's that from? It's coming off over here. DoshNEGGER going for Zock, as we suspected. And directly onto the left-hand side of the island, and that will hurt. All of the TAC missile defense on that ridge, that now makes him completely vulnerable to TAC missile attack. Especially with the huge quantities of Zoos on this side of the map. Be very dangerous indeed, but we've got support commanders that are just getting in amongst it, recycling the Atlantis Rex, the battleship Rex, and going, you know what, it's worth it. You can kill me, it doesn't matter. Liberate, mofo. I'll get you. But Zock is very far forward with his comm. Don't like that at all. Get back, buddy. But he's determined to continue some harm torpedo creep, which I love. It's like a brand new thing he just invented. Huge quantities of artillery fire raining down on that fat boy, and that goes pop. So many Zoos though belonging to DoshNEGGER. What are we up to? 296 pieces of mobile arty. That's insane. It's the only real unit that's still effective at the stage of T1 at this stage in the game, pound for pound. Lots and lots of fire coming in and going out over this little bridge. This crab is slowly shedding hit points. Some kind of terminal dysentery, losing weight by the second, but he manages to end that, get out of range. Still taking a few from this one here. But DoshNEGGER is making a move. blackjuge's comm is more or less safe over this side for now, but that's so many artillery pieces. That's insane. And DoshNEGGER and Zock are in cahoots. They notice now. This is what I love about this dynamic. It's a little bit like a Phantom game. You get all the backstabbing and... But look at the bricks. Look at the amount of Zooey fire. We just slow that down to normal. That's absolutely insane. It's just the perfect weapon for this map. And at the same time, he's got a couple of sub-hunters over on the right-hand side that are putting some fire down on that rear factory. Zock very far forward with his commander. I don't like that at all. Get back, dude. Get back. Down to 3,000 hit points. Oh, 425 hit points. 10. What? Oh, you cheeky gits. He's back here. He named a support. That is very cheeky. He renamed the support commander, so I mean it fooled me. It doesn't take a lot. As you've seen, I get confused between strat defense and strat launchers, but don't worry about it. But that's so very nice play. That's just BM of a whole different order. Look at this absolute cluster in the middle. And look actually what those Zoos have managed to deal damage-wise. Pummeled the edge of blackjuge's base. And the amount of ASFs that DoshNEGGER's got, so much control. Luzun's actually taking control of those top 3 mass points. They're all T1. You can hear the chicken making landfall. blackjuge gets out of dodge. Wisely so. Still with 30-odd thousand HP on that chicken. Needs to hang a right. Needs to take out that nuke defense. Needs to take out that generator. We know where he's going. Knock that back up a notch. I think we're in danger of missing too much. He's got one in the clip on that strat launcher. I have missed it at some point. That nuke launcher for Luzun got nullified, I'm guessing from long-range galaxy fire. But blackjuge's base has been decimated. He's lost all of his core mass points. Down goes the nuke defense at the top of the island. Actually, there's no nuke defense down here now either for Luzun. They are wide open for a nuclear attack. And DoshNEGGER has it within his power to do it, but I guess he's not aware of it at the moment. See any others there at the moment? blackjuge, 3000 HP. Finally, they managed to deal with that chicken. The Ion Storm zaps a whole load of engineers. Zoos finish off the galaxy back here. They can take out this factory. I don't think there's going to be enough of them left. He's got a few kicking around down here. One lonely brick doing some kind of hero march towards Team 1's base. DoshNEGGER manages to take them out with some sub-hunters. And one Atlantis left. So Team 2 just got boned, if you excuse the expression. That's what's so exciting about this format. It's the huge fights that can wind up to this. I'm still jazzed about that whole subcom thing. It's probably a really old trick. I'm sure loads of people do that, but I don't know. That's really cool. I got really excited. I thought he was going to die. And there goes the nuke. Where's that heading? Oh, it's going for Zock again. Git. Poor Zock. Oh, there's a crab nearly finished. 90,000 hit points, though. He does manage to take it. 24,000 HP left on that. So that could be, in theory, completed. My God, that's a lot of TAC missile launchers with a lot of missiles in the hold. On Summit out there valiantly defending. Another nuke goes off. That's going after Zock again in the same place. I think that's a huge waste. He could have put that in the middle of Team 2's base. Does manage to finish off that crab. Kill a support commander and a bunch of other engineers that were coming in to deal with it. But I think that's a waste. I really do. I guess he wanted to free it up. He's engaging with God knows how many sub-hunters. And it takes that many to effectively deal with harms like that. Zock now has a pretty significant problem. Gets his comm out of the water at exactly the right time. Had he spent much more time on the side there, he would have been in trouble. And Zock takes off with his aircraft. Huge amounts of strat bombers coming in. Deplete the shield instantly. Zock is now chasing after the strat bombers with his own ASS, but they are massively outnumbered. A second wing coming in nicely after the shield is taken down. Hits Zock full on in the face. He's down to 4,800 HP. Oh my God. I thought he'd gone up there for a minute. 1,000 hit points. He can't. He's trapped. He can't go back in the water because of all of the sub-hunters in the area. If he stays on land, he's going to get strat bombed. They're coming in for a second pass. I think that might be it. An amazingly timed shield blink. Couldn't be nicer. That is so generous, really. 1,600 hit points. if he can finish those off. DoshNEGGER's not happy about it. You lucky so-and-so. Strap bombers coming in now, going for Zock. 2,000 hit points and climbing. He's looking a little bit healthier now. More shield gens coming online, giving him more coverage. Oh my god, that was close. Zock, you lucky git. Still, so many Zooies down here on this side island. Things going pop all over the place. So DoshNEGGER's just unleashed all kinds of fury onto Zock. And Monkey Lord on his way north from Zock's base as well. See how effective this little Zooey attack is on all of these galaxies. Galaxy's not the best unit in the world for taking out masses of Zooies. You'd much prefer hundreds and hundreds of frigates. Oh, look at those diet pills. Zock spacing his battleships out nicely. He's got enough of them to deal with the spam. He's going to be able to keep them alive. And now finally this horde of Zooies on the left hand side are making a move as well. Get into the main base. They can do an awful lot of damage. And you can see how prepared DoshNEGGER's been for a attack missile attack. He's got tons and tons of TMD. Still a little while, or hardly any time at all, before he has the next nuke ready. We have got a nuke defense up, but that's completely empty at the moment. Probably won't be expecting another nuke as yet. But Monkey Lord has made landfall at the top. Zock, with the help of its handy stealth system, managed to get it into the main base. Going to try and take out as many mass points as possible, but there was a chicken waiting for him, accompanied by some strap bombers. They make short work of him, and he only really picks up a shield gen, 2 mass points, and associated defensive buildings. So now Zock has had to completely readdress his priorities. He's left this conflict on the right, is going after DoshNEGGER. Another nuke goes off from DoshNEGGER. Is he going for Zock again? Yes, he is. I feel so sorry for you, buddy. And that's going to take out that strategic missile defense again. No, it doesn't. It strays into range. He's got another one further back. This one here, that was too far over. That will give him a chance to get another one in the clip down here. So hopefully for Zock, that'll be the end of the nuclear bullying, because his island now has a half-life of approximately 1,000 years. As those summits fend off some of the shells from the strap bombers, he manages to take them out with some ASFs. He's got so many fewer ASFs than DoshNEGGER. DoshNEGGER has managed to more or less destroy 4 of these galaxies. There goes one of them. He needs to get more harms up to deal with this sub-hunter spam. Down to just 4 summits on that side, 1 on the right-hand side, so he is still keeping a presence over here. And the crabs on the right having trouble with just the 1 harms down here. The 1 harm. See how well Zock is doing. Leapt to the top of the scoreboards, having not killed anybody. Nuzun got the kill, but he's way down in 3rd now. Blackjuge short stacking. Chicken potentially in a dangerous place now for Zock. Needs to get some of his harms, all of his harms, focusing on it, try and put as much damage on it as possible. Is where is Zock's ACU? There's so many support commanders on the field, it's hard to see. There he is. Chicken makes landfall, and this is going to be critical. It's all going to come down to how quickly Zock can deal with it. It's taking an awful lot of damage, and he's dealing with it awfully well. Goes down in an annoying place. Might take out that gateway. Oh, how much damage it's going to do to it. Yeah. Oh, there it goes. So no more support commanders for the moment until he gets that rebuilt, at least. Summit's now putting pretty good range fire on that side island finally, and it looks like, tentatively I say, Zock has survived that very vicious assault from DoshNEGGER. Absolutely brutal. But Luzon just hasn't, despite all that, hasn't been able to recover. He's producing battleships, battle cruisers, one of the two. It's actually bigger than a battleship there. That's a bit weird. But I assume he's still producing summits, but hasn't been able to get back on his feet at all. We've actually got a strategic missile submarine up here at the top for blackjuge, so he's going to have a nuclear option at some point, unless that goes pop. Got a gateway up for Judge as well, so people definitely favouring the support commanders for this. The game goes on this long, it's usually a good route to go, and it has gone on a long time as we approach the 1 hour 8 minute mark. That is quite unreal. If you're still with me, I'm impressed. My own girlfriend couldn't listen to me for this long. I don't know how you're managing it, but some fire coming across from both sides now. You can see this line of artillery, the T2 artillery that DoshNEGGER is constructing on the ridge to counter the galaxy spam coming out from Zock. And of course, I think that's probably going to work out quite well for him. At the moment, he's got better shield coverage over there. Of course, there's no shields that you can have over the boats unless you're stationed right by a cliff. Got some outrageously large shields, or unless of course you're teamed up with a UEF buddy, but a whole bunch more strat bombers coming in, loosing their weaponry at the same time. Very nice AoE, another galaxy on only 2,000 odd HP. And wisely some SAMs being constructed in the water. The great things about Supreme Commander, the fact that defensive structures can be built on land or water. Summit's going down as they try and make some kind of impact on the aircraft carriers. The aircraft carriers were really what has allowed DoshNEGGER to be so dominant in the air on this. You hear the chicken on this cliff just firing down on these new fortifications for Zock, which really won't last very long at all, as that plasma ball of death comes in and destroys it. And what was once an exceptionally formidable navy for Zock is now looking rather feeble. However, this is going to be a nice pickup as he marches in on the left-hand side, and there's a lot of pinging going on, which really does point or indicate to a lot of teamwork going on between Team 1 and Team 2. Everybody's afraid of Zock, it would seem. As that the last few strat bombers come in, those bricks do manage to pick up that T3 mechs, which is bad news for DoshNEGGER. He has now been relegated to the mass point on his island, and that only. We've got an experimental bot, a megalith in the middle for Zock. That's forced DoshNEGGER's chicken back into the water, but of course he's far too tall, and he's getting a head full of artillery. But another chicken is closing down. If you can get them both in at the same time, you should be able to deal with that crab, although that chicken's not going to have a great deal of hit points left on him by the time he makes landfall. In fact, he's lucky to make landfall at all, and now that other chicken is going to have to walk through an iron storm. Side's better of it, perhaps. Lots of strat bombers coming in to assist. Zock somehow needs to work out how to get back on top of the air game in this. DoshNEGGER, his strat bombers are being far too effective. And Zock withdraws the crab from the central island back into the sea to give it some coverage. And once again, poor old Luzon has a bunch of galaxies massing on the edge of his base. He's firing very long distance with a summit. I thought that was someone's commander going pop for a minute. It was just a support commander, one of Zock's. Still trying to erect defenses on the left-hand side. And engineers getting pinged. Look at all this teamwork. This makes me sick. Poor Zock. It's tough being this good. And Luzon having to draft in help, assistance from his teammate, getting a support commander in there to just build tons and tons of low-order T2 shields. It's certainly working for the moment.
Strategic launch detected.
Another nuke going off. The question is, where is that headed? Looks like it's headed to the main side base again. Judging by how that last attempt ended, I imagine that's going to be shot down. Or has he dealt with the nuke defense once again? He has. Oh my god. Zock. I just. Oh no! Oh my god. One very late missile defense system kicks in. Some dude was sitting there reading the latest edition of Batman with his feet up on the desk and thought, oh my god! Pressed the button, but it was too late. It had already hit. And all he did was add to the destructive power on his island by sending a strat defense missile in. Too late. Cheeky git. Over here on the right-hand side, more harms going up. We're going to knock this up a notch now. As the amount of stuff on the field is slowing this up. Luzon popping a whole transport full of engineers. I guess they were ready to take that top island, so the shows you the level of teamwork extends only so far. And that boundary is basically here. Stray out of that and we're going to shoot you. There's been a lot of pinging going on in terms of, I think that's just literally warning. I don't think they've actually provided any meaningful assistance in any way in the last 20-30 minutes. This has just been an all-out war raging between DoshNEGGER and Zock. Still producing Zoes, and this is something I've been trying to get my hands on, or trying to get a handle on. As you mentioned in the forums, my idea is not being universally popular, and I don't blame it. It's very radical, but the so I think something, not necessarily my idea, but something needs to be changed, my personal opinion, to address the balance of Zoes. The fact that they can be this useful at 1 hour 15 minutes into the game. I'm sure some people will be watching this and arguing that they haven't been useful, but they really have. They can go anywhere. They can get in around these cliffs and annihilate. The amount of damage they do to structures, it's absolutely incredible, and they're so cheap. Cost the same as a T1 tank. And Chicken outflanks these battleships on the side. 2 galaxies go down with the assistance of some strat bombers. A brand new nuke defense silo up in the middle for Zock. Must be so sick of being nuked now. I certainly would be. He's done a pretty good job with those galaxies. He's dealt with most of the T2 artillery on that ridge. And those Zoes once again making their way into the middle. And quickly dishing out the necessary 8,400 damage to take out that mass point. Don't make it any further, but oh my god, 3 bugs! Blackjuge, where did you come from? Where were you hiding those? There's been so much going on this side of the map. I've missed them, but I've found them now. And this could be tricky. We've got a Scathis going up down here, but you imagine they're probably going to go straight for Zock. Zock, of course, can get his commander in the water. He has virtually nothing in terms of air force left because DoshNEGGER has been... So they're pinging the nuke defense, so that's going to go... So they're wide open. Zock is wide open to a nuke attack. He's got his commander in the water. The other one is getting pinged as well. Oh, Zock. Life is so cruel. At least one of the bugs is going to go down, so it's flying over a huge amount of T3 anti-air. Might potentially lose 2 of them. Just waiting for the strategic launch detected. surely will happen any minute. I feel so sorry for you. You played so well. It's a cruel world. Who's going to do it?
Strategic launch detected.
And it's that sub at the top that we saw earlier from blackjuge. Decent range on those suckers. And that's going to be annoying. Poor Zock. What did he do? Sitting in his base, minding his own business, building epic amounts of dangerous-looking battleships. Hardly deserves that. Oh, your base. What happened to your base? A couple of chickens doing the fandango in the background, making their way in towards it, trying to avoid that long-range galaxy fire. But of course, these galaxies are still in play. He's lost all the mass points, he's lost a lot of build capacity, but his commander's still alive, he's still in the game. But you imagine now that with these guys double-teaming him this hard, surely he's got to go down. He's got to find a way to deal with these bugs first and foremost. There's a nasty addition to this game. blackjuge has been quietly constructing them up here. He's with the help of Luzon, obviously, so that's been a team effort. He's got another one out. Another nuke out for DoshNEGGER. How many more has he got in there? No more left in there, but also nothing left in Zock's base. Everyone nuking me. Yeah, that's what happens. And those bugs return to dish out what damage they can to the naval factories. Actually found a decent little power production facility on this rear island, and that's going to go down. And look at Luzon saying hard rules of FFA, leader is tracked. Of course he is. Poor old Zock. What happened to all your stuff? And so rarely you see a game that goes on this long where bugs can cause that much damage and go so unmolested, but it's just been the nature of this. Zock doesn't have any air force because DoshNEGGER is just far too many ASFs. He's depleted them all continuously. And to be fair, I don't think Zock has really tried to. He's got a aircraft carrier there, but that's on pause production. He's only got 3 ASFs or whatever he was building in there. Certainly looks like he was building ASFs. And now all is quiet. A couple of chickens up here at the top. DoshNEGGER's got a stealth gen up on that northern section. Now it once again looks like Team 2 that's looking grisly with all these experimentals kicking about on the shore, although very thin on the ground in terms of stuff. Lots of build capacity in the water, but not much on the island. It's all quiet again. What an incredible game as we pass the 1 hour 20-minute mark of in-game time. Of course, the cast time might vary because it depends on how quickly the speed translates on the replay with the variable of my machine and at what speed I'm running it. Zooey's once again up top for Luzon, making the pass through those mass points, picking them up off Luzon. And got a whole bunch of mobile T3 arties that have been airdropped in from blackjuge, but I think that's a mistake. They're not going to go too far in dishing damage to DoshNEGGER. They're just going to get overrun, especially when you've got chickens so close to them. And they've got nowhere to go, of course, not being amphibious. So they can hope to drive around a little bit, but they're just going to get insta-zapped by that chicken. Much he can do. Still DoshNEGGER probing, looking for a way in on this left-hand side. One harms down here. One harm. No, it is a harms. Yeah, one harms. I always thought that was plural. One harms down there, still in play, slowing things up. Of course, cruise missiles being launched out of that submarine, just going after those Zooeys where they were still over there, but they've paused now. That should land, taking about 3 out. And a couple of quickly produced Tridents, the T1 Cybran frigates for blackjuge, should deal with those no problem. Look at this little bug party at the top. Just chilling, jazzing out. It's like those little groups of mosquitoes that you walk through eat half of them. Just flying around at the top of the map. And finally that Harms goes down, and this now looks a little bit dangerous for Zock. He's got an open path on the left-hand side. And he's ground firing that area. DoshNEGGER needs to move these sub-hunters. They're going to take a lot of damage. Oh, just manages to move them. Lost about 2 there, I think. Chicken chilling up here on the top island. A huge quantity of strap bombers flying overhead. Where are there any commanders that we can see? blackjuge is just on the side. He's dropping them short. He's going rather unnecessarily overkill on that power gen. But also Team 2 doesn't seem to have the play. In fact, did he kill the nuke defense? Is that what that was? He must have killed the nuke defense. So DoshNEGGER just ruining everybody's day. Takes out a crab on the way past. Oh, dude. That's not good. So, Team 2 suffering very much the same fate as Team 3. Still in the game. But Island looking peaky. And DoshNEGGER's just looking so dangerous at the moment. Where is his commander? It's moving right up here to the back. But that is definitely stalled Team 2. He's got these 4 bugs. He needs to find a way. If he can get a scout on and find out DoshNEGGER's comms there, if he can get in there quickly, I suppose there's a decent amount of T3 going up. If he'd have found him earlier, if he'd have seen that, he would have been able to sneak in with those bugs and get the snipe. Could be the only way he can rescue this game, not unless Zock can pull off a miracle. At the moment, it's looking very much like DoshNEGGER is going to emerge victorious. We had a Novax center up. I don't see a Novax anywhere. It was... No, it wasn't. It's Atlantis. So, I don't know what happened there. Maybe it hadn't finished or he hadn't launched it. God knows. But either way, that was not necessarily a shrewd investment. And out come those bugs, but they've been spotted very early indeed. And those ASFs are going to mince them. He turns them around, trying to get them in some kind of place of defensive coverage, but one drops out of the sky. I'm sure another one about to fall soon. It's far too much fire for them to hold out for too long. Another one falls out of the sky. And then he withdraws. Oh, he should have stayed on. 4,000 HP on that one. That would have been surely easy to deal with. Worth the extra things you would lose. That Atlantis is being very cheeky indeed, moving right into the back areas of Zock's base. Zock still alive and well at the front here, or at the back I should say. Looks like he's kind of run out of steam. Doesn't really know what to do next. Take a look at how he's doing economically speaking. He's floating a huge amount of mass. I guess he's lost most of the support commanders he had. He doesn't have a gateway for the moment, so his build capacity is shot. Knock it back up a notch. Chicken made its way on land, but promptly got destroyed by all of the bricks and the crabs that were waiting for him. Here, the chicken at the back as well, and it's caught blackjuge napping. Oh no! Oh my god! 400 hit points. Oh! Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, are you kidding me? Unreal. Absolutely unreal. And DoshNEGGER must just be thinking, what do I have to do to get a kill here? Zock escapes with nothing. Now blackjuge escapes with nothing. Crab is in range firing. Luzum was trying to spam up another Novax. If you watch Luzum, perhaps you can tell us what you were planning to do with that. I'm very curious. blackjuge gets his comm out of the water just in time as those huge quantities of sub-hunters turn up from DoshNEGGER, and they are ruining the back channel of Team 2's base. Definitely do with taking out that T3 naval factory. And just no one, not Team 2, not Team 3, has been able to do anything to deal with DoshNEGGER. He's gone completely unmolested. His base just hasn't been hit for ages. And we've got an experimental bomber that is being constructed very quickly indeed. Lucerne, let's attack the purples. With what? You guys don't have anything.
Launch detected.
Another nuke going off. I think Zock was exclaiming just that, and that's going towards Zock again. Does he have the nuke in, defensive nuke in? He does. That will get intercepted finally. Summits going past, going north, and another massive engagement from the Zoos coming in to the edge of the cliff, primarying the Cerberus turrets first, which is definitely the right maneuver. As they get in, might still be able to take out these T3s again. Sub-hunters move in under the cover of the bulwarks, want to take out the bulwarks first, which is what they're doing. And once they're down, they can focus on the summits, which again is what they do in succession. Should go to this one first, it's on nothing. But it won't be a struggle for them at all. Take out both of them. And now Team 2 has no navy at all, with the exception of this strategic missile submarine at the top, which does actually have a nuke in it. But the experimental bomber is out. It is heading towards Zock. It's going to release a bomb straight on top of the power plant. No, it's not. It's going straight after the commander. Ground firing. And as the strategic bombers come in behind, I don't think they dropped their bombs. Took an awful lot of flak on their way past. Zock survives for now. The Awasar takes a lot of Samfire, has to change trajectory, wants to get another run in, if at all possible. Things looking very precarious for everyone whose name that isn't DoshNEGGER. Zock trying to get her arms up. Doesn't manage it. Another bombing run coming in. Bombs away from the bomber. It gets popped out of the sky and rather conveniently lands right next to a huge bunch of engineers. That's like the biggest gift ever. It's like, here, have reclaim. Masses of it. And I'll put it next to your engineers so they don't have to go anywhere. And then probably they go to reclaim it, but the more immediate problem is this chicken that's on land, destroying everything. Bricks moving in to intercept. Just doesn't have enough firepower. Strap bombers coming in, going after the mass. Zock just hasn't been able to get back on his feet after those last couple of nukes landed. His commander's looking safe for the moment as we pass or come up to the 1 hour 35 minute mark. Chicken just ruining everybody's day. Marching forward now. Preferably should go after this T3 power gen. Don't really know why it's not firing. It's going for a stroll instead. Still hear that bomber somewhere. Or
Strategic launch noise detected.
Another nuke going off. Where is that headed? Could it be going for Zock's commander? Doesn't look like it trajectory-wise, and it's not going to make it anyway. There is a strategic missile defense in place. So the game continues for now, but Zock is going to be having a real bad day very soon. A lot more Zoos coming in once again. Attack missile launches away, trying to snipe that chicken. Collides one, does a decent amount of damage. If he didn't have those galaxies, he wouldn't be able to do it, but a nasty little rank up gives that chicken a huge chunk of HP back. But unfortunately, he stands it still. It takes about 4 attack missiles and is back to worse off than it was before, and then takes another few, so finally that gets dealt with. But Zock has another problem. That's the huge horde of T1 that's approaching from the north. while at the same time sub-hunters coming in from the bottom. Doesn't want to get isolated or caught with his commander. They will rinse that commander in seconds. There is a harms there to protect it. He immediately starts building a harms, wants to get it up. I think that's a bad idea. As soon as DoshNEGGER realizes they're all going to come in and primary the commander, and that's what they've done. He's not going to get that finished. He needs to go on land right now as he drops below 4,000 HP. He's realized he's trying to micro a little bit, but he's not going to make it out of there. What a fantastic effort you made, Zock, on this game. It's not to be. You got pretty heavily double teamed, but very nicely played all the same. And there goes Zock. He probably says haters. And now it's just DoshNEGGER versus Team 2. Question is, in the reprieve that they've been given, have they got anything with which to defeat DoshNEGGER, who's looked, to all intents and purposes, pretty indestructible in this game? He's kept the pressure on. He's kept all of the players away from his main island. He's suffered no damage for about, I don't know, maybe the past hour. He's basically been indestructible. And again, massing more Zoos. And it's the fact that he's had these aircraft carriers on constant air build ASF duty that's really helped him. No one has been able to get up their air power in this game. See a little bit of conversation going on, asking if you had strat defense. Luzon pinging it. There's 4 in the clip on that one as well, so that would need to be taken out for a successful nuke strike. Doesn't look like there's anything in place up here for blackjuge. This ACU is wandering to the right hand side, and of course, mobility-wise, DoshNEGGER's going to have all of this mass now, or capable of taking all of this mass. There is no Navy left for Team 2 whatsoever, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get one up, not with this many sub-hunters patrolling their coast. Just a few bricks, just dip a robotic toe into the water and get insted. Knock it up a notch again. Be interesting to see how DoshNEGGER manages to finish this off as we approach the 1 hour 40-minute mark. So many strat bombers being pinged. Take a look at what that looks like from Team 2 perspective. Yeah, so obviously they know they've got one there, so they know that's all going to be strat bombers because they've seen one. Scathis, they're saying, go, go, go. Where they're going to build that. I don't know if they have the ability to defend it. They just don't have the shielding. I suppose Luzon's got a hell of a lot of shields actually at this side of his base because of the amount of time and effort he's been putting up. So blackjuge was going to build a Scathis there, but Luzon said no. This is where a power generator goes. So he's going to have to find somewhere else for it. Zooey's making their way in though at the edge of the cliffs. And he might not even get to keep that power generator, although the Zooeys for the moment are going after the SAMs, which suggests perhaps a strat bomber rush, which we've seen. He's got them coming in now. If that's the only nuke defense they have, they could be in trouble. If that's successful, we'll slow it down. Bombs away, going after Luzon's commander, in fact. Oh! 10,000 HP, 11,000 HP. Lots of strat bombers going down on the way back. Lots going on down here at the rear of the island as well. Luzon's trying to get to some kind of safe place. Another volley or salvo coming out from the strat bombers. Oh, Luzon! Luzon, no! Boom! And The reigning Imber Cup champion is ejected from the game. Very nicely played, DoshNEGGER. Luzon throws out the sporting GG, as always. That dude is a model sportsman. And I do believe the whole island is wide open. However, no, there is one more nuke defense in the middle from blackjuge, and that is why he went for Luzon's comm instead of just the nuke defense, because that's ideally situated. That will cover most of the islands. Chicken making his way on to the frontal coast. One of them was taken down. And still, right to the end, DoshNEGGER making or taking advantage of those Zuis. So we crank it back up to normal speed. Bricks making their way into the water. It looks like blackjuge. It's just set he set a rally point to the back of DoshNEGGER's base. It's like, right, well, this is over. We'll see what can get into DoshNEGGER's base and what can cause some damage. I mean, he's got 2 nukes, in fact, in that nuclear missile submarine. There was one. Did I just hear it? I keep thinking I'm hearing experimental bombs going off, but I must be imagining it. So he's got, where was that nuke defense we saw earlier? He's got 7 of 7 in there, but the question is, has he got another nuke defense silo? I don't think he's even got one. He has got one right there, so it's 3. So he's got 2 he'd have to take off.
Detected.
He's not even going to bother checking, he's just going to try his luck and fire them off.
Strategic launch detected.
And how about that for a rate of fire on nukes? Actually, he's not going after the base at all, he's going after the units. A whole bunch of engineers on one of those looking for reclaim.
Launch detected.
It's quite a nice hit. Takes out huge amount of sub-hunters. He's going to take out all of the cruisers down here as well. No, not quite. Nearly. A little bit further south would have done it. Just doesn't have the base back, but left to get back into this. Nuke goes off from DoshNEGGER, but promptly gets shot down by that SMD, which still remains. No shield coverage at all. Harm's going up to defend the commander. But this really is over at this point. DoshNEGGER has played superbly. And also has had a bit of luck, as of course you would expect on this format. Some decent damage with that crab, but it won't last much longer as those large death balls of plasma come in from the chicken. Support commander's going pop on blackjuge's main island. He's just going for a little stroll with his commander. The death stroll probably going to get caught by the sub-hunters as they come round the headland of his main island. See what he can see on radar terms. That pops up immediately. They reacquire. Will he be able to get out of the water? Just 5,000 HP. Finally, he finds that pesky little Strat missile sub. That goes down. I think he might as well accept it's over as he strolls his commander into the water. Kaboom! 1 hour, 45 minutes. Damn. Cause damn. I am destroyed. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I did, and I'm going to have a lie down. That was absolutely brutal. I'm going away for the weekend. I may be able to get one up tomorrow. It'll be a short one if I do, and it'll be going up first thing tomorrow morning. If you don't see it, it probably won't be anything until Monday, guys. But in the meantime, stay well, stay safe. This is Gyle signing out.